Why, Johnny, why? That's the question on everyone's mind here. I've always been a fair man in the NXT universe, and there's questions circulating. So you do ask, and I will tell. Alistair, we all have a path, and my path is leading straight to the NXT Championship. My goal is to be the hero of the story and take out Tommaso Ciampa, who has been a dark cloud in my brain for how long now? You've gotten in the way. And when you're in the way of my path, I got to take action and knock you out of the way. Nothing personal. I do one thing, just one thing that people consider evil. And if it just blows up, they say no man is ever truly good. No man is ever truly evil. Well, there comes a time in life when you're on your path trying to, get to where you want to be the hero at the end of the story. You got to play a little dirty. And you know what? Kind of starting to like it. Spot of familiarity over there. Spot over there. Where I usually sit to do my live streams. Instead, I'm sitting on my bed, my dark room, on this rainy night here in Pittsburgh. Take over War Games. I will not be the one to fade to black. And Alistair Black, you will not get in my way again. Why is my charger not plugged in? Man, let's see. Let's go on to YouTube. Oh, hey, guys. What's going on? I didn't see you guys there. What is going on tonight? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and I'm coming at you live once again for my top 10 special live stream of the week as we continue to do some string of NXT topics now for a few weeks. So once again, bring some power of positivity. Well, I'm wearing my Kofi Mania shirt today. To this channel, and hopefully, of course, my stream works well this time. The last stream I did, for some reason, my camera stopped working. You can still hear me, but the camera stopped working. So hopefully that does not happen again with this stream. But we're here live to my top 10 special week, and we're going to do top 10 NXT segments of all time this week. This was a little hard to do because I've only been watching NXT full time since the beginning of 2016. Well, last week of 2015. First week of 2016, basically that. So there's some segments, of course, a lot of them have been good. A lot of them are very similar. It was hard for me to remember some of my favorites. So I had to do a little bit of research, look back on a few things. So I think I put together, the best list I could. So I feel like this might not be one of my longer streams, but it'll still be, a good one, hopefully. But next, I think we'll be doing storylines, which I think will be a lot more interesting, definitely talk about when we do so there. So let's see what we got here. Talk, is everything okay now? And do the best and worst years in WWE, which again, maybe I'm not too sure about that one again because I haven't really seen too many Raws or SmackDowns from every single year. So maybe we'll see how that one goes, but maybe that's a possibility. But thank you, for a suggestion, Tyler. So let's get rolling here. Do the first half of my top 10 list. With this, again, my top 10 segments. Now, I was trying my best not to repeat the moments from last week. Last week, we did top 10 moments. And be honest, some of them I probably could have saved more segments, especially the one with Seth Rollins invading TakeOver San Antonio. I thought we could have maybe, saved that one for this week. Because, again, this was a hard list to come up with for sure. But let me know what you guys think in the live chat, comment section if you watch it later. And let's see what we got. So we're going to start off with my number 10 here, which was from, kind of the build for the past TakeOver I just finished watching for this channel, TakeOver Chicago, which I just have TakeOver Brooklyn 3 left, and that's the last TakeOver I'm going to be reviewing on this channel, because I'm going to be watching right now, because that's the only one I haven't reviewed on this channel yet. But in the build for that, for the opening match that showed Roderick Strong versus Eric Young, it was kind of during a time where, Roderick Strong was still kind of new in NXT, and although he's had a successful career on the indies and whatnot, there's still people like me, of course, who didn't really know who Roderick Strong was. And those video packages allow us to get to know Roderick Strong and see how much of a family man he was, the recent birth of his son, and of course he's close to getting married to, at the time, his fiance, now wife, former MMA star and one of the 4 horsewomen of MMA, Marina Shafir. Having the same, just just really, setting, allowing us a way to, see the personal life of Roderick Strong and to get behind him as well, and just have reason to cheer for him. And that was one of the first times I ever remember sitting back and watching wrestling. Well, besides, of course, anything else in the past I had watched too, but first time I'd like seen these video packages, outside of the ring of what superstars can, of what a superstar, does outside the ring, like the man himself behind Roderick Strong, if that really is his real name in real life. What is Roderick Strong's real name in real life? Let me look that up really fast. I'm just kind of curious. Is that his real name, or is that just his in-ring name? Roderick Strong. Christopher Lindsay is his real name. So who is Christopher Lindsay? Who is Roderick Strong? Christopher Lindsay, the man behind Roderick Strong. And I thought, again, it was one of those first times I've seen video packages where it's I feel like, okay, these behind the scenes things are very useful when you're trying to, get to know someone, Of course, I wish they would have done it more often. Of course, the next one time I really that they really failed, though, was when they did one with Bobby Lashley when he first came back to WWE. Because why? All he talked about was his freaking 3 sisters. All I knew after that saying was that Bobby Lashley had 3 sisters. That's all I knew. Because then, 2 weeks later, we had the freaking Bobby sisters segment that was just complete garbage. But yeah, I feel like I became more appreciative of some video package behind the scenes of getting to know someone like Roderick Strong and whatnot. And they've had others for this reason had a great one for Ligero this past in NXT UK. They had one for Bianca Belair after she's racked up some victories, just to get to her personality a little more and such. And a few other people they've done. It's kind of who is this person? And I wish main roster would do more stuff, the effective ones, not Bobby Lashley talking about his 3 sisters, and that's it. So we're supposed to get behind some guy who looks like a freaking god because he has 3 sisters. Okay, that's kind of weird. But I thought these worked very well for me becoming more of a fan of Roderick Strong, getting behind him and played very well into his story of going into his feud with Eric Young for TakeOver Chicago. So number 10 is the Who is Roderick Strong video packages. Number 9 is the contract signing last year for the NXT TakeOver New Orleans champion match, the NXT Championship match at NXT New Orleans between Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. Why did I enjoy this? Robbie, if you're watching this, you know why we both enjoy this segment. Aleister Black, and once again, remember, Vince McMahon thinks you always have to have comedy in everything. Everyone has to do comedy every single week. But most of the time, everyone's got to have Vince McMahon comedy to make him laugh his ass off behind the scenes. Where at NXT, not everything is comedy. This is kind of, Aleister Black taking his first cracks at, the comedy department, basically, or, just the comedy style when it came to the in-ring promos. So he goes in. At the time, either almost or soon-to-be wife, or may have been just got married already. Can't remember if they've been married or not. Zelina Vega was there to represent her. She's the business associate representing Andrade Cien Almas. And Black literally sits down in his pretzel leg position, like he usually does during his matches and whatnot, and looks up to Zelina. He says, "So now that we're on the same level here," and of course they're going back and forth, and Aleister Black is cutting all these, short jokes, making fun of Zelina Vega's size and whatnot during it. That was pretty funny how he was taking cracks at that. I guess and now at NXT New Orleans, you can tell him that he will come up little short. We're making the reference there, obviously, just being a smart alex to Vega, who's just a small little one. But trust me, when they book her right, she can get those hurt Coronas down pretty good on whether it's McIntyre or Johnny Gargano. Did she do it on Roddy? I can't remember. I know she tried to attempt one. Oh yeah, I think she tried to attempt one on Drew McIntyre, but it did not work out. But I enjoyed that segment. I remember I thought it was good, and that's why it's on my list. Of my number 9 is Aleister Black and his short jokes to Zelina Vega, his soon-to-be wife. Number 8 is a segment involving the build. Well, actually, there's 2 reasons why this segment was on my list. Because one, the second biggest reason was because there was also a segment where like Nikki Cross came out and was awkwardly staring down people such as Velveteen Dream and Tommaso Ciampa and whoever else kept around segment, either like Ono or I think Ono came out and maybe Shani, I can't remember who all came out, but I remember Nikki Cross, this was during the whole storyline, even though to me it kind of ties into end up being Johnny Gargano. It kind of still ties into the storyline of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, but the storyline of who attacked Aleister Black. Nikki Cross, kept going around saying, I know. And then she awkwardly came out and started just being awkward, and crazy, getting up near people Dream or even Tommaso Ciampa and whatnot. But the main reason why I picked this segment, because earlier in this segment, we had Tommaso Ciampa and Velveteen Dream taking some shots at each other, going back and forth and whatnot. And of course, Ciampa was reminding how Velveteen Dream is probably jealous because of his shiny, oh so shiny title belts. And yeah, he kissed Goldie and whatnot. And he says, I'm not sure about how I feel about this. But Goldie, is just, reminding me that maybe you are not so tough enough. And of course, that got a good pop from the crowd as a good insult there, because of course, the reality is there. Velveteen Dream, aka in real life Patrick Clark, he failed he didn't win tough enough. He lost tough, so it was a nice little shot there. But I don't know, it's all the shots fired at each other. I just appreciated the way how Tommaso Ciampa was just like, yeah, well, I'm not sure. Maybe you're just not quite tough enough. Basically, I just weaseled that out there a little bit, and I thought it was pretty funny for sure. But yes, that's why that's my number 8 is Tommaso Ciampa telling the Velveteen Dream he's not tough enough, but also Nikki Cross coming out and just awkwardly, checking each person out because kept saying, I know, and of course. Who was it in the end? Who was the one who attacked Aleister Black? Mr. Johnny Wrestling himself. Well, Johnny Takeover, Johnny Champion. Also, the way Tommaso Ciampa liked it, he was also Johnny Badass, which of course, or as Velveteen Dream called him, Johnny Jackass, which was a nice little, nickname from there with when Johnny was, kind of on the dark side and whatnot. But that is my number 8 there. Number 7 was actually involved. I haven't seen this segment, but I saw a clip of it though in the video package when I watched NXT TakeOver R Evolution. And to me, I saw them like, you know what? That's how WWE is missing booking, a proper, underdog babyface, such as Sami Zayn or Bayley or Daniel Bryan. Well, I should say Daniel Bryan when he was a babyface, but especially Sami Zayn, because this segment involved him. Sometime before NXT TakeOver R Evolution, in the feud with Sami Zayn and Neville for the NXT Championship match. Again, the story kind of going into this that even though, Sami Zayn is the ultimate underdog, who he may come up short in his losses, always looks like he's been able to, he could pull off the win if it was for one little mistake. And the one thing that seems to always cost Sami Zayn is, just his, just him, trying to, show some, a little more too much respect, and being a little insecure, and being a little like just like being just like a good person basically, and not trying to push anyone else's buttons and whatnot. And that's of course the storyline going into the championship match, is that those instances had costed Sammy, getting to the top of the mountain like he's always dreamed of doing. Well, what happened then was there was a segment where obviously Sami Zayn put his career on the line, saying, if he can't win the big one, then he is gone. He needs to, overcome not just in ring, but the mind games as well. And of course, him and Neville were good friends, or Adrian Neville, and he was like, you know what, I refuse to be the one to end your career. So, well, I wish you best of luck, though. He puts his hand out, and Sammy says, "No, this is what I'm talking about. I am tired of falling in for everybody's respect. Every time I fall into my mind games. It's what gets me. It's what costs me." And he slapped Neville across the face. His longtime friend Adrian Neville, he slaps across the face. And to me, I'm like, that's good storytelling there. Baby faces don't have to be something, goody goody two shoes people all the time. They need to show an aggressive side. They need to show a time where they actually mean business and whatnot. They're not supposed to be people who are just like I just do the right thing all the time. I can't push over. I probably said how not book a baby face. Bailey being a delusional little kid. Yes, she had like a fangirl, girl that everyone wants to be like. And on the main roster again around the Raw Women's Championship, they booked her like a joke, a delusional idiot who wouldn't take anything seriously. They made her look weak when she couldn't even hit Alexa Bliss with a kendo stick in the kendo stick on a pole match, the match that completely killed her. Of course, recently she's picking some momentum back up, even though once again she lost as champion in a tag team match to Miss Da. I got my blonde hair, I got my blue eyes, I got my big tits, Vince loves. But yeah, I just saw that moment in a video package when watching Takeover R Evolution. I'm like, you know what? Like that's the prime way to go for like an underdog baby face, like how Sami Zayn was. Someone who obviously was charismatic and very like looking out for others. Like he wouldn't want to have a referee hurt, or he wouldn't want to ruin the friendship with people. But he obviously was showing that, hey, I had the balls to take risks at times when things happen. If it costs hurting my friends, it's what I'm going to have to do. And that's why I want to make my list at number 7. Number 6, the segment where Aleister Black spoke for the first time. And what I like about this is it was like they were teasing speaking, and then all of a sudden he gets interrupted, and he doesn't get to speak at all, and he gonna drag it out like main roster dude. No. So Aleister Black had been up on the main roster for quite some time. Not on the main roster, but in NXT for quite some time. He debuted NXT TakeOver Orlando. He had a few matches here and there, and of course he had his next pay-per-view match at TakeOver Brooklyn 3 in a hard-hitting affair with Hideo Itami. Well, after that match, and like a few weeks afterwards, Aleister Black spoke for the first time, kind of like some dark tones, basically, saying he has a devil, has had a devil on his back. Obviously, basically saying he's setting some goals, but he knows what he needs to do to get to those goals, and he has his scars and whatnot. And then, of course, out came the Velveteen Dream, who had been lurking around here and there since TakeOver Chicago. Actually, at TakeOver Chicago, because his debut was right at TakeOver Chicago, and at first, I wasn't really that big of a fan of his, but then over time, I slowly, saw it with Superstar, especially at TakeOver War Games when he lost probably like the strongest you could ever have him lose with. But that segment set up that feud there, and I think it was just a great first impression for 2 stars on the microphone, both Velveteen Dream and Aleister Black, and it's why it's one of my favorite segments in NXT of all time. Aleister Black speaks for the first time at number 6. So far we got Who is Roderick Strong video package, number 10. Number 9 is Aleister Black tells short jokes to Zelina Vega. Number 8 is Ciampa telling Dream that he's not, tough enough. Number 7 is Sami Zayn refuses Neville's respect. And number 6 is Aleister Black speaks for the first time. Let me just check this text message real quick. This is kind of important, and I'll get right back to the stream in just a second here. Yeah. All right, I just want to answer that. Anyway, so let's check the live chat again really fast. And we've got he thinks the dark year is 2007, best year 2003, and the worst is 2015. Kind of agree there. Yep, Vince is definitely a dumbass. The wild card rule is like an Uno card game. Nice. That's a good one. He's the worst year 2007, best year 2000. Worst face and heel turns. Sometimes these heels are bitches. And the worst is 95. Definitely 95 was a bad year, I know, because they were down talent. Best 2001 for sure. It was the point of bringing back John Cena, Batista. Well, Batista, again, he wanted one more match before he retired. So I get that. Cena, though, again, he put over Balor. What was the point of him coming back? He wasn't going to do anything anyway, so for Mania. Thank you for your stuff in the live chat, Tyler. Moving on now to my top 5 NXT segments of all time. Number 5 was just one that recently happened. I picked this one because it was a friendly reminder that, hey, guys, Tyler Breeze is still a superstar. You just never gave him a chance on the main roster, Vince. Number 5 is Tyler Breeze's NXT return. Now, of course, he did make an appearance here and there on a couple of NXT house shows. And, of course, he did appear as a surprise and had a great North American title match against Ricochet back in, like, November or December towards the end of 2018. Of course, this segment, though, is a couple weeks before TakeOver 25, where he would set up his match for him and Velveteen Dream for North American Championship at TakeOver 25. But Tyler Breeze came out basically how, like, the Velveteen Dream inspires him, and so does North American title and whatnot. They go back and forth. I like how, Velveteen Dream was taking shots at him, saying, like, while you were being a dollar store cop or playing cops and robbers on Raw and SmackDown, in catering and whatnot, he's here taking the spotlight, but the spotlight does not belong to him. And of course, before Tyler Breeze, when he left, he said, "You want to take let's take a selfie?" He's like, "You want to take a selfie with the champ?" All right, let's do it. And then as to get ready to take the selfie, he says, "And just so you know, a word of advice: if you write your number on your trunks and nobody calls, that means they're not interested." Pow! And knocks out the Dream, taking a shot at him, setting up, of course, for that pretty good North American Championship match again. Just reminding us once again, hey, Vince, Tyler Breeze is a star. You just didn't give him a chance. But he went back to the brand that he definitely earns respect from. And who knows? Maybe more will follow in his footsteps and go back to NXT. I don't know, maybe him, The Ascension, Apollo Crews, Dana Brooke. Who else go back to NXT? The Ascension. I don't know. I'm trying to think who else I would want to see go back to NXT, honestly. Or No Way Jose, for crying out loud, he's doing nothing. At this point, EC3. Put EC3 back on NXT. Poor EC3. I feel so bad for the way he's been booked. And he's been treated up on a main roster. But, yep, that's that one. Tyler Breeze returning number 5. Number 4, speaking of the Velveteen Dream, this one has happened a few weeks ago and was probably setting up for a feud with Dream and Dominik Dijakovic, where Velveteen Dream, first off, came out on that couch. Velveteen Dream coming out on that couch, to me, is just absolutely priceless. The first time was funny. The second time was even funnier because Velveteen Dream came out and literally recited like a parody version of the national anthem. Let's see if I can literally find the lyrics to this. National anthem lyrics. Oh, come on, where is it? Okay, highlights. Let's see here. All right, come on. Where is it? Scrolling down. Oh, wrath! It's not there. Well, let's play the the music. Well, the segment. See what we can get. Go on, load. Oh, come on, this is not what I want. It was "Oh Say Can You See" by the Dream's Brilliant Light. While you stand there in awe at epic, the Dream's epic gleaming, while stealing the show without messing my fro, just like Riddle's flip flops under my massive elbow, referencing being Matt Riddle at the previous takeover. Buddy Murphy's red hair. I just kicked his derriere. Oh, please. So please feast your stare because your family won't care. That say that if that the dream is a banner I see. Oh, why yes, I'm the dream, and this is the Dream's NXT. I mean, I know he was sung a little offbeat to it and whatnot, but come on, it was still a priceless. It was still priceless. I mean, you had the Dream first coming out like just the last pay per view as the Statue of Liberty, for crying out loud, and now literally making a parody of the Star Spangled Banner. Whether again he was offbeat or whatnot, it was still genius and whatnot. Just good stuff. Just oozing out of it, his charisma and whatnot. Because in the words of Mr. McMahon, oh, it's such good shit. But that is my number 4. And again, I'm sorry this list is kind of weak, but it's the best I come up with. Number 3 is the beginning of Samoa Joe's destruction. What do I mean by that? Is the first segment that kind of started up this storyline leading into his NXT Championship rematch at NXT Championship Toronto, NXT Takeover Toronto. Samoa Joe basically came out. I mean, this is not the same I was talking about where he basically choked out a star that NXT had built vignettes on for weeks and not be seen again, Dan Matha. But this is again, Samoa Joe made his first appearance since dropping the NXT Championship at Takeover Brooklyn 2. He came out and admitting that Shinsuke Nakamura was the better man, and he won. And then he walks away. He allows Nakamura to celebrate and whatnot in the ring. Then out of the blue, Joe came back and beat the living shit out of Shinsuke Nakamura. So bad that they said that Nakamura could be out for about 6 to 12 weeks. And it was the beginning of the whole spew of Regal! With his eyes, bulging out of his head. Bring me Nakamura! Or hand me my championship. Now, I'm pretty sure I'll be talking about this next week for the top 10 storylines in NXT. That's my number 3 is the beginning of Samoa Joe's destruction. Again, because Samoa Joe, I love the way he did those promos. Acting like, don't worry, buddy. Everything's fine. It's going to be okay. Basically, just like he did whenever he choked out Paul Heyman on Raw when he was getting ready to face Brock Lesnar at WWE. Great. Balls of fire. Good. It's great. It's just great. Balls of fire. That was actually a good pay-per-view, but the name of it absolutely sucked. Bob, but my name's Billy. It doesn't matter what your name is. That's right. Anyway, so that is my number 3. Number 2 is Tommaso Ciampa's 3 silenced segments. So after Tommaso Ciampa returned to take over Philadelphia, and besides the fact that, he kind of gave us a little bit of a pre-appetizer as to, why he did what he did at TakeOver Chicago. 2 weeks after, of course, when he, was getting ready to go away and get his knee fixed up, explained that basically, he was offended by the fact that the people, didn't believe that he could have wrestled that match after getting injured the Thursday before TakeOver. and that people didn't believe that he would wrestle, and they thought he was gonna whimper out of this. They came up with dream opponents for Johnny Gargano within like an out like 1 day. But then, of course, when he knew he was going to be out after he had aggravated his knee during the ladder match, and knew that Johnny Gargano would do the same thing that these people would do. That's why he turned. But obviously, there was going to be much more to it. And Tommaso Ciampa was going to go out of his way to make Johnny Gargano's life miserable. But of course, when he came back after to go to Philadelphia, and of course, during the time also where he actually costed Johnny Gargano's career in that career versus title match on NXT a couple weeks after TakeOver Philadelphia, he would come out and fans, that's when Ciampa had no themes. He finally got his theme music, No One Will Survive, like right after TakeOver Brooklyn 4. So Ciampa would come out for weeks with no theme music, and everyone just starts booing the lights out of him, telling him to F off and to screw you, and he sucks and whatnot. Well, again, just give him the heat, of course, that he deserves. But he came out, held the microphone, always teased he was going to start speaking, then he wouldn't. Teased again, and he wouldn't. Teased again, and he wouldn't. Of course, he would just walk around the crowd, rip up the Gargano emoji face signs that were there. And he did this for 3 times. He would come out. Anytime he came out, he was going to get a little bit closer and closer and closer to finally speaking. Finally, the 3rd time he came out, all he said was, "He's gone! Gone! Gone!" And then even though for the past weeks he had ripped up a few of the emoji signs, he went on a rampage ripping up those signs until the one segment where Johnny was actually hidden, masked up behind one of the signs, and he beat the hell out of Tommaso Ciampa. Of course, that was the build to their unsanctioned match at TakeOver New York. Now, of course, these guys have had many amazing segments together, whether it's that or the segment where Ciampa beat down Gargano after Gargano had that segment of how he got his job back, but Ciampa was like, "Well, hey, I'm still here to make your life a living hell and whatnot." And of course, the segments where he basically, goaded Johnny and Alistair into having a steel cage match, so that way Ciampa could continue to play the mind games of Gargano and just manipulate him even more than he already had. Or the segment wherever they decided to team up in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic this year or whatnot. They've had a bunch of great segments. But the silent segments with Ciampa again were just great. It just held that suspense in again. We had that great build while Ciampa was away of Gargano, basically, as I said in my previous stream. It looked like Gargano was dealing with like a breakup, trying to move on, but it kept coming back to him. Just keeps coming back to him. And finally, the moment Ciampa came back, he was prepared for it. It's like seeing your ex-girlfriend for the first time in how long, and you're just not prepared to see her with her significant other, basically. And you just weren't prepared at all. And that's how it was built with Johnny Gargano. And once again, Tommaso Ciampa waiting to hear what he has to say, especially after he cost Johnny his career. The suspense was just building there, especially with those segments where he's getting booed out of the building and whatnot. Were so great. So Ciampa's silent segments were number 2. And number 1 is the segment that I imitated when I started this stream, the Why Johnny Why segment, which was, I think, so well done and so well illustrated again with Johnny being outside or just walking around, kind of like it's how some people be whenever they walk and they're being reflective. Johnny was just admitting, yes, it was me who attacked Aleister Black, but why did I do it? Kind of like like a heel, but also kind of still like a fan favorite, reaction, because he's like, I've always been fair to you guys, so I will tell you guys what happened. I explain how, Aleister just basically, got in his way of him trying to be the hero at the end of the story and become the NXT champion and, stop, end Tommaso Ciampa's, reign of terror that he'd been putting on, whether it's with Aleister Black or right before or the Velveteen Dream and several other people that Tommaso Ciampa had been manipulating during his time as NXT champion. Well, him and Goldie had spent the time together and whatnot. But what was I gonna say now? What was I going to say? What was I going to say? Rats. But But yeah, the story was told well, illustrated very well, and it was just just a great way to continue on the story with Ciampa and Gargano. So guys, very brief. I didn't really have much to say about this list. This wasn't one of my best lists, but that's my top 10 NXT segments of all time. Here's the list again. The number 10 is the Who is Roderick Strong video packages. Number 9 is the Aleister Black tells short jokes to Selena Vega. Number 8 is Ciampa telling Dream he's not tough enough. Number 7 is Sami's interviewing Neville's respect. Number 6 is Aleister Black speaks for the first time. Number 5 is Tyler Breeze's NXT return. Number 4 is the Velveteen Dreams national anthem. Number 3 was the beginning of Samoa Joe's destruction. Number 2 is Tommaso Ciampa's silence segments. Number 1, why Johnny, why? Live chat really quick. He's giving me some more best and worst. He says, why put AJ on Raw and not Orton? Yeah, I don't know. Orton should went to Raw and Kevin as well. Best 2009, 2008, worst 2010, worst 2019, best 2011, best 2005, worst 2010, worst 1993, best 1998, the worst years 1999, weird years 1999 and 2006. Roman should stay on Raw. He should not have went to SmackDown. Why Vince? Why WWE? Why main roster? Why 2019? Why? Worst is 2014. I'd say 2014 was good until the fall. 2005, I could say it was probably good too. But thank you, Tom, for yourself in live chat. Guys, I'm checking out here again. That was kind of a little bit of a bland, top 10 special, but the best I can come up with. But next week will be top 10 NXT storylines of all time, which those will definitely be amazing and great ones to talk about for sure. Much better than these segments this week. But what are your thoughts, guys? Thoughts down in the comment section below. Slap a like on my video to start working on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at DemandAir93. Also, make sure to check out my recent NXT retro reviews. Make sure to also check out my WrestleMania Experience documentary found in the description box down below. And probably tomorrow sometime, guys, I will be wrapping up my NXT Takeover retro review series with NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3. I'm gonna try watching it tonight. Probably won't be able to review tonight because I'll probably be like 2:30 by the time I finish watching, but that's okay. So until then, guys, have a great rest of your night. I will see you all later. And peace out, everybody.